Hello and welcome back to Stat Sisters. Lucky you, you're here for our bonus mini pod to celebrate our great employer, St. Mungo's. And so excited about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them coming out this Friday in
Yay!
theaters. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you, JK. Thank you, Joe, for giving us more to geek out about. So, as you know, Carrie and I are, in addition to being Medi Witches at St. Mungo's, we are major self-proclaimed Potterheads. We geek out about it, so we are so excited to bring you a little bit more about the inner workings of our job and how it varies from your standard Muggle hospital.
Yes,
Am I right?
and to say that we're geeking out about this movie is such an understatement. I have constant butterflies. Like, I'm going about my business, doing my mom stuff and job stuff, and then it'll flash in my head that it's going to I'm actually seeing it early tomorrow night, and I can't wait. I
I'm
can't
so
wait. It's
jealous.
going to be so great. If it's not great, I think I'm going to have to call in sick on Friday. I
For
will.
depression, you'll need a mental health
I
day.
have built it up so high in my head. It has got to be good. But I've never been disappointed before.
Right, exactly. And like, okay, so I just rewatched all of the trailers I could find right before we started recording, and I am just like, "Oh, I love that part. Oh, I love how they do the apparition. Oh, it's the music." And
Yes.
I just everything from like the little wisps of smoke, and it's just so Potter. It's just so Potter. So thank you,
I know,
Joe.
keep
We
them
love
coming.
you. Oh, keep them coming, baby. So we have picked a barrage of topics, and Carrie and I were just going to kind of alternate picking a topic that we're going to chat about, and maybe I guess a little bit on how it differs in the Muggle world versus the magical world, and how we deal with medical things that you may have thought of if you're like us, as you've read the books or
And
seen the movies.
and most of these were
So
actually questions asked by our Muggle friends.
yes, we had lots of help. So shout out to everybody who helped us out, to Carrie and oh wait, no, you're Carrie, to Lindsay and Jesse and and Carrie and Aaron.
Yes, I did contribute.
You- and whoever else that we just can't think about right now. So thank you. All right, Carrie, you want to start us out?
Sure. So, as an OB nurse, I'm going to go straight to the OB question.
Right, there's quite a
Yes,
few
I'm
of
going to go
those.
for the big one because we've never seen a baby born. We know that they have witches have babies all the time, but
Right, and some like Molly have a lot of
yes,
them.
and
It's our girl.
but they don't ever show exactly how that happens. Do they have home births? Do they go to St. Mungo's? I mean, like, what happens? And so we're assuming that babies that come naturally, like out of the vagina or from below, as we call it in labor and delivery when we don't want to say that word. Um,
From
yeah.
downstairs.
Um, a lot of babies in the Muggle world are born via cesarean section, and we're wondering how that works in the wizard world. And so we're thinking maybe they do have surgery, but also maybe they just axio baby and get the baby out.
Right, like Accio baby, boom, it's in your hands. But then, because that is genius, by the way, and I love Lindsay for coming up with this question. But if that's the case, if you can just like spell a baby out of the uterus and everybody's fine, why on earth do you not do that all the time?
Right. I
I mean,
I mean,
really?
that would be, I mean, seems very logical that would happen, but I'm wondering if there's anything that, like, they can't do that. So maybe, like, just like how you can't apparate in Hogwarts, maybe, like, you can't accio a baby out.
Maybe there's like magical rules and
Maybe
stuff.
there's a protection on the baby, like the baby has its own magic because
Oh,
you wouldn't want any witch that wants a baby without having to go through pregnancy just to accio your baby out of your womb. That'd be bad.
dude, True that. That takes Code Amber to a whole new level right there. Oh my goodness, because Bellatrix, thank you, Bellatrix Lestrange has proven to us that there are crazy witches and wizards out there.
Yes.
So, wow, wow, I didn't even think about that. And other, we'll say, pseudo magical stories that you hear about in the Muggle world, they talk that aren't Potter. They talk about like limitations on magic or consequences if you use magic for personal gain or things like that. Or there's like a whole balance with magic, almost like kind of like the Force, where if you use magic, then it takes something from somewhere else. And so I could see that where maybe more like there's rules or protections, things that you just, there's the unbreakable, or not the unbreakable vow, but the unforgivable curses, but also maybe there are just some subtle rules and laws that the Ministry of Magic has created to prevent, those kind of things from happening and magic being used, just like underage wizards can't use magic. Maybe there's certain situations that unless it's an emergency, of course, that it's just not acceptable.
Yes.
So
I'm
that's
I'm
that's a really
guessing
good
that
question.
there would be, and I don't know, like if there'd be surgery, like if they would have a C-section, or if they would use their wands to like maybe do the C-section. I'm not sure, but I think
Yeah. I can't picture them actually doing surgery, like, like hand me an 11 blade kind of thing, because they're so abhorred with like the idea of sutures. Molly was like, what? It sounds like you were having them sew you up. And Arthur's like, well, yeah, it's kind of the rough idea. So I can't imagine that they actually do surgery per se, but I don't know. That's an interesting topic. I would imagine I picture most magical people having home births. I don't picture everybody getting their little prams and all their stuff together and loading it in the car and heading off to St. Mungo's.
no,
So,
I think that would be like I definitely think there would be home births, and they would have midwives.
yes, definitely. I see the
Yeah,
midwives big
I
time.
think
So,
midwives
okay.
probably have been magical for like since the beginning of time because they are like today they're still magical.
This is true. Maybe they have their
They
own kind of
do.
magic. Who knows? That specific for babies. I don't
I'm
know.
wondering if they do use their wands for a C-section, if they use like the essence of Dittany to like automatically like heal up,
Right?
like boom, you're done, no
That would be
recovery. I mean,
awesome.
wouldn't that have been nice for you?
As a four-time C-section mom, I would have loved some essence of Dittany. Bring it on. Okay, awesome. Well, great topic. That was a fabulous question. Shall we move on? My turn. Okay, so of course I feel like we have all these medical things and all these OB related stuff, but hey, go figure. We're nurses and it's a nursing podcast. So and we're talking about St. Mungo's. Oh my goodness, we have so many good ones. Okay, so what about things like common colds, strep throat, just basic infections, whether it's like a bacterial or a viral infection? Do wizards, well, first of all, do they even get infections? Because we don't really hear about them even giving so much of as like a sniffle, really. Spattergroit. Oh, there you go, babe. Husband's piping in from the background there. Um, but do they get your standard infections like muggles do? Or are wizards like physiologically just different where they're kind of resistant to those things? And I guess part B would be, do they use antibiotics? Dragon pox. Okay, yeah, he's peanut gallery back there is giving me all sorts of answers. But what do you think?
Well, I don't know about dragon pox, but I know we have a vaccine for chicken pox. So I wonder
Right?
if there's vaccines.
Do they vaccinate? Well, that's a whole nother topic.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness. My mind is like blowing up at every topic here.
Right. So the common cold, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anyone's ever sick, although they use handkerchiefs quite often, it seems.
Yeah, I guess that's a British thing. I don't know. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
either.
I don't I don't think they have antibiotics like we do, like, okay, let's go to the pharmacy and get our amoxicillin. I think they probably have potions for a lot of stuff. And I guess, your potion master is kind of like your compounding
Right.
pharmacist. So I think they probably have potions for a lot of these kind of day-to-day infections, I guess. But or are just that's the thing, like, so are they taking them and we just don't hear about it, or do they just really not get sick because obviously magically they're magical beings, so they're different than us. They're not, excuse me, whoa, faux pas, not different than us, they're different than muggles. Somehow physically, so maybe they're just kind of impervious to those illnesses and diseases. I don't know.
I know. Or
Inquiring minds need to know.
or maybe the ministry has like given everybody vaccines, or maybe the vaccines come from the ministry and it's a gift to muggles.
Whoa.
Maybe those are
Whoa.
really potions.
Dude, that's pretty awesome.
But seriously, like, okay, so there's a lot of like muggle wizard marriages and everything. So how do they deal with that? Like, I am a total vaccine person and antibiotic person and medicine. And so what if I grew up, like, maybe I grew up in that muggle world, but then now I'm a witch. And how do I reconcile that? Am I like sneaking my kids out to Walgreens to get vaccines when no one's looking? Or what?
I love it. I don't know.
It's a mystery.
I'm just going to have to say that they use potions, and then as far as them being a little different, I don't know. I'd love to hear Joe's take on this. I'd love to. We should have tried to get a hold of her.
I know, we should totally tweet her.
That would be awesome. Like, do they get sick, Joe? I mean, because if so, okay. I could just keep going. You know, what about cancer? What about morning sickness? And I could just keep going.
So I think
So
morning
I just
sickness, I think totally I just really feel like they would have an easy fix for that. I just don't think that would slow a witch down.
No, there's probably an herb or some kind of, again, potion. There's
Totally.
just got to be something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't I think that they have probably been very successful against those common things like cancer, because so the average age, like, lifespan is so long.
Right. They've got to be just built physically different. There's got to be like an actual physiological change where they're just more resilient. Because the longevity, like you said, I mean, how old was Dumbledore?
Old, but he's not the only one.
130 something?
Yeah,
Well, exactly.
like, and if you don't get blown up by accident somehow,
Right? Or
like,
enemy.
or on purpose, yeah, like, you live a long life.
Yeah.
I just don't think cancer's an issue. Maybe if you get any abnormal cells, you can just like send them somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool. To be determined.
Okay.
How's that?
Right. We're going to have to take some more classes at St. Mungo's and figure this out.
Yes.
What about.
Gonna go for my master healer.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So, what about birth control?
Well, I think it widely varies. It seems like the Muggle world, because you look at the Malfoys and they just have, Draco. And then you look at the Weasleys and they obviously have chosen to have many children. And then there's all sorts of families, it seems, in between. So I think they certainly have birth control, because we'd have a lot more Weasley families otherwise. But again, is that a potion or a spell, or like, do they do tubules or vasectomies? Like, how do you have permanent sterilization? So my answer, I think they've got to have some kind of birth control.
I have an idea, but I don't know if it's okay for our podcast.
Oh, jeez. Well, I guess we could always cut it out.
I'm thinking, you know how like you get memories out of the pensive? I'm thinking something like that. You're like,
Oh my goodness. See, that seems pretty primitive and messy to me. I can't see that being the birth control method of choice.
you're like, out.
Yeah, I don't think like Expelliarmus spermatozoa is the one to go.
I don't know. They do something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's apparent that there is birth control of some fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know that they have like IUDs or anything.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Right?
I'm all maybe.
Maybe. Like a permanent little magical ring that's just up there emitting spells constantly.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know how often they would be engaging in that activity when they can do magic. Seems like.
Oh, shh.
Seems like there'd be other things you'd be wanting to do. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I think they're still human. Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, because there's no population shortage, so there's babies.
Yep. Yep. They're having babies
Once
all the
again,
time.
I'm going to have to say potions. I think that's my stock answer for like everything tonight. I think there's a potion for it.
I think there is. And I think that that is very normal to take because there is no teen pregnancy at Hogwarts, and there's ample opportunity for that to be happening.
They are upstanding young men and young women.
Right. They're teenagers.
Unsupervised, largely. Because, like, they may have a head of house, but they ain't staying in those dorms with them. Hello?
Right.
They're just policed on their own. Like, yeah, go follow those rules, guys.
I know. Well, there's the house ghost too that can just pop in anytime. So maybe that's a deterrent.
This is true. And, you know, the boys can't go in the girls' dormitories, so problem solved.
Right, but the girls can go in the boys.
I know. Or the stairwell.
I know, or empty classrooms.
I don't know. Okay, potions. We're deterring here.
Okay.
We just took a detour.
Well, okay, so we don't really know how the baby gets out, but how do people like okay, so why do moms have the mom bod and dads have a dad bod when they have all this access to magic? You'd think that everyone would look like Pit Jolie.
Right? Like we look. I think that kind of goes along with those spells that they're temporary. Like when Hermione, she got all gussied up for the Yule Ball and did her hair, and it certainly worked, but it took a ton of time and potion, and it was a temporary thing because her hair just naturally wasn't like that. So I think that they can do these unless you're, you know, like a metamorphogus, you can, you know, change your looks at will. But short of that, whatever these spells that they do, I think they're just temporary. I don't think you can permanently change your appearance. What do you think?
I mean,
Maybe it's those unwritten magical laws again.
no, I think that Bellatrix probably does. I mean, she seems like
Ooh.
very selfish and that she'd always want to look her best. Maybe, but like you're saying,
For
maybe it's
Voldy.
a lot of work.
Yeah, maybe it is. But you know what? I contradict myself because Hermione's teeth,
Yes.
when she had that spell and they were like constantly growing like beaver teeth,
Uh-huh.
and she went to oh my gosh, I wanted to call it the infirmary, the hospital wing, and had Madame Pomfrey fix them. They were shorter, and they were permanently shorter.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can.
So, yeah. Huh. I don't know.
So maybe
There's gotta be
there's no
something.
cosmetic surgery then, because if you can make teeth shorter, I'm sure you can make other things larger or smaller.
Or smaller. Or smoother.
Yes, but maybe it takes a lot of skill. Maybe it's not something easy to do. Like, not everybody is good at every spell or every
Right, and
branch of witchcraft, so maybe that's not
right, and
easy.
she had to go to a trained healer. I mean, yes, granted, was what was she, a second year, third year? So, but she had to go to Madame Pomfrey to do it, and so maybe that's just it. Maybe there's licenses. We're licensed medi witches, and maybe when you're magically licensed to do certain things, that actually enlarges your magical powers. You can actually do magical things that maybe somebody else can't do. Maybe that goes along with it. I
Right.
don't know.
Maybe.
Something to think about.
Let's see. What else
Hmm.
can we think about here?
Oh, I've got lots. I'm just waiting.
Okay, well, you go.
So, oh, we talked about this, we talked about that. Okay, a little parenting aspect here. When you have, little Draco out there climbing the apple tree in the backyard and you've told him umpteen million times not to do it and he falls down and breaks his arm, you could just automatically fix it. I mean, we've seen, as long as you're not Lockhart, I mean, you could fix the arm. But if you're trained and not a total prat, you could fix his arm. So do you just do that immediately? And then he never learns because he's not in pain. He doesn't have to go through like 6 weeks of the itchy cast and like sticking the coat hanger down there in the summer to try to scratch it. Or do you let him suffer for a little bit so he actually learns his lesson?
Well, I think they definitely have the ability to do it, but I think that's more like a parenting style question than a medical question. And I would let them suffer at least for a week because I do that now. Like,
You'd be fixing broken bones like every other day. I mean, I have three
yeah.
boys.
No, I mean, it's for their own safety. Yeah, if there's no consequences, like natural consequences, then they're going to just be crazy. But then on the other
Right.
hand, these kids are like 2 years old and flying around on, starter
Miniature
brooms.
brooms.
So they,
Right.
I don't know. I think it depends on the parent and the kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think, is it equated to like barbarism to just let your kid heal their bone on their own? Because obviously it will, and it's not like you're doing sutures or something, which we know they look down upon. But I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of it, Carrie. I think there's got to be some kind of natural consequences, or I think would be seeing a lot of this selfish use of magic way more. I think it would be, pandemic almost. People would be constantly and changing their appearance and, doing all sorts of little shortcutty things, and we don't really see that. So there's got to be some kind of consequence or deterrent.
Right. And something just occurred to me about changing your appearance because, like, when Ron is changed, they changed his appearance and to disguise him, and it's easily changed back. And so I can totally see, like, in high school, you're trying to look all cute, and then someone just like a mean girl, and she's like, boom, and then all of a sudden you're like Snaggletooth again. Like,
Exactly. That wasn't your hair yesterday.
yeah.
No, I think you're probably right. It's temporary. Even the best magical charm, it's not who you really are underneath. So, speaking of high school, what about things like braces? I mean, this is the UK, but
What are you
braces and
saying
acne,
about the
they
UK?
have stellar dentition. I'm just saying. They admit it. And I loved the fact that Hermione's parents were dentists. That was so funny to me.
I know they were just unusual.
I'm just saying the British have their own stigma for their teeth. So I'm just passing it along. I hope I'm not offending everybody. I need to just stop talking.
Well,
But
as far as I know, we don't have zero listeners from England right now.
yet, but this podcast is going to blow that wide open.
Well, I
Because
have
Joe's
met
going to hashtag it in the Fantastic Beasts trailers and these premieres she's going to.
That's totally going to happen. I've met many people in from England and from the UK, and their teeth are fine. I think that's a
Right.
stereotype,
I think you're right.
but it's a
Absolutely.
funny
So
stereotype, and I think it is funny that Hermione's parents are dentists.
I don't think it was by mistake.
No.
I don't think it was like coincidental. But so obviously we know poor Eloise Migden, they obviously have acne. So again, why aren't they using like booba pus and getting rid of that? Or like, come on, there's all these like poor teenage angsty things, oh my gosh, I have a pimple and I'm supposed to go to the Yule Ball and why aren't they taking care of that?
I think it's a lot of it's skill. Maybe they're
Possibly.
scared. Like if they're trying to decrease their acne, maybe they're going to decrease their face on accident or something.
Right, if they're like somebody who has Seamus's luck with spells, they could
Yeah.
just
Could,
burn off their
could
eyebrows.
blow up in their face. Is that
Literally.
that was the worst bit ever.
Let's see. Da, 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 da. We've got some kind of seriouser ones here. So I think we've talked about surgery, we've talked about common colds and those kind of things, but are there diseases that they can't cure? I mean, we know obviously like permanent, like Lockhart, his brain was permanently addled, and Neville, the Longbottoms, Neville's parents, that they were tortured into insanity by the Cruciatus curse. So obviously there's some psychological issues that, the body and the brain can only withstand so much. But, what else? Are there other things they can't cure? Paralysis, if somebody gets hurt flying a dragon, can they fix that?
Well, I think that just like in medicine in the Muggle world, healing the physical body is so much easier than healing someone's brain. And I think that totally translates in the wizard world. It is so much harder to heal somebody's brain and unlock the mysteries of that. It's easier to get someone's skeleton grow and grow a new bone.
True.
But
Or a new liver or, whatever.
yeah, I think paralysis, I don't know if they'd be able to do something with that, but it seems likely. But definitely there'd be lots of ways around being immobile.
True. I think that, I could see something if they could get there quickly that they could repair, like, the spinal column or, those nerves. But I wonder, like, once the damage is done, once again, that's, you've had physical damage and those nerves have been killed or you've got atrophy or, of those tissues or how, I don't know that they can actually make it new again. Or maybe they can. Maybe once again, if they're skilled enough, they can. Because you don't see like a Professor Xavier rolling around Hogwarts. I mean,
Yeah, right? No, there's like
and
zero disabled witches or wizards.
right, just even your old, just geriatric ones. I mean, look at Dumbledore. He was pretty dang spry
Mm-hmm.
for being a century plus.
Yeah.
So I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's they're severely, well, not severely, they're more gifted when it comes to physical issues, but the brain is a whole nother animal, and maybe there's just only so much that they can do. But obviously, people, they're not immortal. They can be killed. So you would think there'd be some kind of middle ground between being killed and being as fit as a 17-year-old. There's got to be some kind of impairment. I mean, we know that Dumbledore's finger, when he put on the ring, it was cursed. But
Right.
there's got to be something else where, I don't know, because eventually they die. They don't just like not wake up one morning. There's got to be some kind of natural cause of death. So I would think that there are some diseases that they probably can't cure, and maybe we just don't hear about it because it's not pertinent to Harry's story. And everybody he knows dies way before they were supposed to. So
Yeah. I don't know.
that's another one
I don't know.
we just kind of don't know.
There's a lot of I don't knows, but it's very interesting to
That's.
think about.
I hope we're spurring conversations in break rooms across America and the world.
I hope so too.
Okay, Carrie dear, your turn.
Okay. So I think we have tonsillectomy on here, and I think that is like super easy. I think they just shrink those bad boys until they're like the size of raisins.
Right, and they just shrivel up.
Yeah, I think they just, I really feel like they could do that easily.
I think so. I think if you can accio a baby out of somebody's uterus, I think tonsils are like, psh, I can do that in my sleep.
Yeah, I really do think that that would be no issue. Oh, well, I have one more.
Okay, bonus.
Okay, so at St. Mungo's, we're not above emptying bedpans, but we're just very busy, and so we have lovely assistants that do that. Thank you, assistants. You're awesome. But I never have figured out how they dispose of the bedpan contents.
Oh, honey, I think it's just like Molly Weasley when she doesn't have one of the million kids washing the dishes. I think it's just like, boom, point your wand and gone. I just can imagine. Like, it
Right.
just instantly flashes into, like, almost like you apparate it into the loo.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, so I know that, like, you can't just get food from somewhere. Like, it has to come from somewhere
Magical properties.
else. Right. So I'm like, it
Right.
has to go somewhere. But I didn't even, why didn't I think about it just going into the loo? What?
Yeah. And I don't think they, like, float it. I think it just lit, because then that, that could be messy. Somebody opens a door or whatever.
Oh, no, that's
Right?
terrible.
So I think it literally just, like, they just apparate it into the loo. And
Nice.
then they use that, Scourgify, and they just clean it up, and boom.
That is
I love our
genius.
little Medi nurse assistants. They're amazing. I wouldn't want to do my job without them.
Oh, me either. Okay, well, this has been a great, um, okay, well, this has been like super fun. It's got me
Yes,
super
I'm loving
excited
this.
about not only going to work tomorrow, but going to the movie afterwards.
I know. I've got to find a babysitter or something so we can leave the kids and go at midnight or something.
You totally do.
And you're going to be at work tomorrow, like in your head, being like, Accio placenta. You know it. You're going to be doing all sorts of little spells in your mind.
I always do.
No, I had an absolute blast, and we could keep talking about this, and we have talked about Harry Potter, I would say ad nauseum, but that makes it sound like a negative thing, and it's not. We've talked about it for decades. And we will continue to do so.
Yes, but our podcast will start having less Harry Potter in them pretty soon. But in the meantime, we will be talking about it until December 1st because we are having our Harry Potter giveaway of the illustrated
Yes.
copy of either the Sorcerer's Stone or Chamber of Secrets.
Right, whichever you choose.
Yes, and so you can go to our Facebook page, Stat Sisters, and like the page, and then also share our promotion post. And also
Yep.
go to Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram. We want comments. Please, please comment and tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. If you have a comment about our audio, we know and we are working on it. And if you really want us to improve that, go on over to patreon.com and sponsor us.
Absolutely.
And we will work on that even faster that way. So
Right.
we really want your feedback though. We love it. We're starting to get some comments and it is super helpful and we just enjoy it so much.
We love it. We try to respond really quickly and just we enjoy that dialogue with our listeners. We want to know what you like and what you don't like and what you want to hear more of. We certainly this podcast is for you. We enjoy doing it, and Carrie and I obviously love to chat with each other. But believe it or not, it's not just for each other. So this is for you guys. So definitely, like Carrie said, go to our Facebook page. hit us up on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can get us at statsisters@gmail.com if you want to email us. You can go to our website. We are constantly working on it every day. There's something new and some new content in there. We've got stories and articles related to the pods that we're, the episodes that we're broadcasting. So check us out. I think we've got some really great things out there. But just like Carrie said, reminder from November 18th. So when we get the launch of Fantastic Beasts, you've got 2 weeks until December 1st. You've got to like our Facebook page and then like, comment, and share that giveaway post that we'll be making and get you entered into that drawing. So exciting stuff happening.
It's so exciting. Okay, well, we're going to end this mini podcast special Harry Potter edition by giving you all some of our best Medi Witch advice. Erin, would you like to go first?
Yes, I think I would like to begin by just quoting one of our most famous posters, as you would have seen in Order of the Phoenix. Just remind you that a clean cauldron keeps potions from becoming poisons and antidotes from becoming anti-don'ts, unless approved by a qualified healer.
Very wise advice. They must have been Ravenclaw.
A little biased there.
Oh yeah, I'm also in Ravenclaw.
All right, what else? What else are we going to give them? We had a bunch of them.
Remember to get your flu shots, but if you do not get flu shots, at least use your flu powder appropriately.
And lastly, remember to only use ministry-approved potions. Keep your wands clean and your spells safe, everybody.
All right, great advice, Erin.
I had to.
Well,
All right.
All right, bye everybody.
Have a great day.
Enjoy the movie.
Bye. Pip, pip.